Hi everyone, welcome back, and today we have talked about, we've had we've had an appetizer, which is what we did last week. We've got a main dish, okay? We've made a side dish, and now, finishing off our dinner, we are going to make a dessert. And so what we're doing today is called a no-bake pumpkin pie. Since Thanksgiving is coming up next week, and pumpkin pie is the traditional thing for Thanksgiving now. So I'm going to show you how to make one where you don't cook anything. All you do is you assemble your ingredients, put it in your pie shell, put it in your refrigerator, and then you take it out and you eat it. Okay, now everybody should have your recipe in your packet. All right, so here's our blueprint. This is the blueprint. Okay, so here's the blueprint. We have softened cream cheese, and when I say softened cream cheese, what that means is this is just cream cheese that has been sitting out for just a little bit out of the refrigerator to help make it a little softer to mix with. Okay, so that's cream cheese. That's a brick of cream cheese. We have some sugar. There's plain old table sugar, the white sugar, the stuff that makes us fat, that we all crave and love. Okay, sugar. All right, here's some milk. All right. We have our whip topping. In this case, it's Cool Whip. It can be the store brand. It can be whatever brand that you want. Okay. We have a pie crust. This is just a graham cracker crust. You need to be careful when you take the pie crust out of take the lid off of this pie crust, because this is just graham crackers that are just ground up and kind of formed into the pie shell. Now, if you want to know anything here, there's also just a little secret. Usually they have a little recipe on the back, and that's just something that you can keep. Usually it's for a pie, but you never know, it could be for something else. And you just peel that off, and this cover, so you keep that, and you can put that in your binder for your recipe. But then you can turn this around, see, if you have to transport the pie, and that's a cover for the pie as well. Okay, so just so that you guys know that. Okay. What else is on our blueprint? Pumpkin. Where's our pumpkin? Right here. Here's our pumpkin. Now this is a big can of pumpkin. We only needed 15 ounces, but we couldn't find a smaller can. So this is what is this? This is and it tells you right here. So this is a 30-ounce can. So for 15 ounces, we're going to use half of this can. Okay, because it's 15, and 15 is half of 30. So if you added 15 plus 15, you get 30. So that's how we know we're only going to use half of this pumpkin out of this can. We have pudding. Now these are the large puddings. Didn't want these large ones. We only needed the smaller ones, but Leslie doesn't listen anyway. So what we're going to do is we're just going to use one to start with, even though our recipe calls for two. If you get the two recipes, get the smaller boxes, and we might need a little bit of this just to get the right consistency. And what we'll do is when we get to the point of mixing the pudding mix and the vanilla and all that stuff together, we will just kind of sprinkle this in if we need the right consistency. And our pumpkin spice. The tools we need is right here, we need a cup. All right. I don't have a cup. I only have a half cup, but like I've showed you before with our pizza, half, we can do two halves to make one whole. Okay. I do have a teaspoon, so I have 1 teaspoon, we'll need that, and I do have a tablespoon. I also have an electric mixer, okay? And we have two bowls right there. Okay. Now you'll notice back here, I have a really nice mixer. Okay. I'm not allowed to use that mixer. Right? I'm not allowed to use that one. My wife says no. So I have this one. This one's just as good. Okay. I'm okay with that. I will use it. And I probably need this one anyway. It's a little bit easier. And the other thing that we're going to need, which I forgot to get out, is our handy dandy can opener. Okay. Got to have our can opener in order to open up our can of pumpkin. Right. So to start off with, we're going to start off with, we need a bowl. Okay, we're just going to follow our recipe. And you know, we don't need to be able to read if we can just follow our pictures. Okay? And we'll just follow our guide up here, our blueprint, so to speak. Okay? So, we're going to do 4 ounces of cream cheese. Move the bowl out of the way. Okay. So we open up our cream cheese, which has been softened, and it's just like this. Okay? And we're going to slide that out. Now, how do we know what 4 ounces is? Well, the box here says this is 8 ounces. Okay, so half of 8 is 4. So all we have to do is take half of this brick of cream cheese, and we have 4 ounces. But, just so that you know, here's a little measuring guide right on the package itself. It's usually right on the edges, right down here. And it does it in 2 ounce increments. So if you want 2 ounces, 4 ounces, 6 ounces, or 8 ounces. And if you only need 1 ounce, then all you have to do is take half of that. And there's a little line if you only need 1 ounce. So you can count. You can just count the lines. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay? So that's just so that you know that. And what you can do with this, if you so choose to do this, is you can cut this just as it is. But we don't do this on top of our counter. We're going to do this on top of our cutting board, which our cutting board is clean. I just have it in the sink over there. And we are going to, again, remember, we wash our hands, we pre-wash our hands, we do all of that. I've already done all of that. Normally, again, like I said, we would have gloves, we'd have a hat, we'd have a mask. I just haven't had an opportunity to go get any of that stuff. Okay, we need a very sharp knife in order to do this. We need to be very, very careful whenever we use a knife of any kind. This one's got a sleeve over it, so we take the sleeve out. And so what we're going to do is we're going to go right down on that 4 ounce line, and we're going to cut that. And cream cheese is real easy to cut through. It's not hard, it's not difficult. Don't ever put cream cheese in the freezer because it makes it crumbly. Okay. And then we just take that right out. We just slice through it. Okay. There it is. And there's our 2 halves of cream cheese. Now all we're going to do is we'll put this off to the one side here so that we don't mix it. We'll take our mixing bowl. And then we're going to peel this open, and we're going to drop our cream cheese right into the bowl. See? So there's a little sign here that says open, and you peel this foil off, just like that, and cream cheese drops into the bowl. Just like that. And then you could take a spoon or something, and whatever that's stuck to the foil, and wipe that off if you wanted to. And that can just go right there. So, and then we want to fold that up so we don't get it all over ourselves. Okay, and then we set that off to the side. There we go. The next thing that we're going to need is we're going to need our sugar. Okay, so this is our granulated sugar right here. You know, on these sugars, this type of sugar, you have like a little pouring spout. Some have a little metal spout that pulls out, and then you push the cardboard in. This particular one just has the cardboard that you just push in. And it doesn't always work. Okay, doesn't always work. And so I'm going to see if it'll work. Otherwise, and it won't work for me today. Oh no, there it goes. Okay, and how much sugar do we need? We need a tablespoon. So we take our tablespoon, and we know that that's a tablespoon because it says one capital T, capital B, capital S. That means tablespoon. Okay, so we pour that in. Right there. We want to get it even. Okay, that's pretty good. And pour that in. Now we need our milk. Now we got to change our picture here, okay? So we're kind of following, because if you look at our recipe, it kind of goes a step by step as far as our ingredients go. Okay, so we're going to put 1 tablespoon of milk. That's what our blueprint says. And we're going to put that into the bowl. Okay, there's a tablespoon. There it goes. All right. Now it says to mix it. All right. So you can. I'm going to use the mixer now. My mixer. Not her mixer. My mixer. Just want to be on record there. And we're going to do it at our slowest pace. So this is the slowest. This is number 1. And then we cook off. And that's got that. Now we don't want to be careful with our beaters, so we're just going to let that sit over our bowl for a little bit. And that's just kind of all, it's all trued up, but it's all mixed up. The sugar, the milk, the cream cheese, it's kind of soft. There's like little chunks. If I could show you, I would, but that's why we kind of use our spoon. All right. Now we're going to pick half our, okay, so we don't have anything dripping there. We're going to take half our whipped topping, right? And right there's our little, we find our little red piece here, and we want to make sure that we have this sealed, right? So we just peel that off. If this is missing, okay, if this is missing, and when we take off the lid, there's no like a foil or a film covering, then we don't use, I mean, if the type that you're using has this, then you know that it's okay. Sometimes they don't use this plastic that seals it. They have a plastic film in here. When you take off the lid and the plastic film is there and it's intact, no breaks or any kind, then it's okay to use. So if it has this on there, it's not going to have the film on there. If it doesn't have this on there, it should have a film that you just peel off. In this case, we have that. Now, remember something. Make sure that you don't see any finger marks or stuff like that, because sometimes we don't see the little breaks. Sometimes maybe it pops open, and maybe it got hot, got warm, and it popped itself open. Make sure that you check this, that it's all good and sealed, if that's the type you're using. If you see it just like this and there's no plastic seal, there's no film covering it, don't use it. All right? You should always have something like that. So now we're just going to take half. So here's our pizza, right? I'm going to use our knife to illustrate. So here's our pizza. Antonio, you stay away from that pizza. Oh, but Antonio can't. He just can't do it. And he is going to come along, and Antonio is going to eat half that pizza. And so all we do is we draw a line straight down the middle of our pizza, because this is one whole pizza, and then we're going to make it disappear. Ooh, Antonio. Antonio stole from our kitchen. Oh, doggone you, Antonio. Why are you doing that, man? Okay. Always eating our pizza. All right, so that's half. And you can see that's a good portion of half. All right. And we're going to set that off, and we're going to use that a little later. And we'll put that right there, scrape that all off. Now we're going to mix this all up once again. Again, my mixer, not hers. Lowest speed. I'm just going to mix this all up. Mix it all up together. Get it all nice and incorporated. We don't want chunks, we want it to be smooth. Take it off. Okay. And now, here's the step where we use our pie crust. Okay, so we're going to set our bowl off to the side. We're going to take our lid off our pie crust. So we very delicately take our pie crust. And what we're going to do is we are going to take this mixture and we are going to spread it all on the bottom of our pie crust. And you're going to want to do this even, okay? So get it all out there, get it all in there. Just mix it in there, spread it out. Oops. And, you know, just so you know, it's gonna, we wanna, pie crust is just in there. It's kind of a cheap crust. I don't usually make crust like that, but that's what the recipe called for. Okay, we wanna get all of that mixture out as much as we can. And then we're just gonna take the back of our spoon and we're gonna spread it evenly in our pie dish. Now you got to be careful with this crust because this is a really crumbly crust. And we're going to spread it real even, just like that. All up the edges as much as we can. Okay. And we're going to make a well, basically. And we're going to go right up to the edge of our pie, just like that. Okay. That's why I have the edges of this foil pan up. Okay, it's kind of making like a little fence for our main mixture of the vanilla and the pumpkin and whatnot. Okay, so there. Okay, and we're going to evenly get it spread out. Just like that, just like that. Look at that. Looking good. Looking good. Looks yummy. Okay. Okay. Just like that. All right. That's going to go into that. Now. So we got that into the pie. So now we're going to get rid of this. So we don't need this anymore. We'll just set that in the sink for now. We are going to set our pie crust off to the side. And now we are going to use our other bowl. And we are going to need a cup of milk, our pumpkin spice, and one of our packages of vanilla. So I'm going to do one full package of vanilla because this is actually a larger package. The recipe calls for 2, but it's 2 small packages, not 2 ginormous packages like this one. Okay. I'm going to dump this in there. And then if we need to use more fooding, we'll do that. Okay, and that's just the powder. Like that. And let's get our, open up our pumpkin. Just like that. Remember, we're not using this whole can because this is a huge can of pumpkin. This is double the size. I couldn't find a small version, a small can, 15 ounce can. So I'm only going to use half of this can. Alright, just so that you know. And you know that when they do pumpkins, when they make this stuff, you know what they do. They just take the whole pumpkin, they trim the vine off just a little bit. Be very careful with the lid because you don't want to cut yourself with that. Okay. Maybe put it in that. And you know they trim the vine off, or they pop out the vine, and then they just take the whole pumpkin and throw it into a grinder. And they just grind the pumpkin up. Everything. Seeds, the outside edge, you know, the ones that we carve during Halloween. They just take the whole thing and just grind it all up. And then they throw it into the can. And they put it in the can. And that's it. There's nothing to it. Okay? So we're going to put this in there. So, you know, we're just going to have to, on this one, we're just going to eye it. About what half a can is. And, you know, here's like half a can where that red label is. So that's about right where we're going to put it. Okay, and then you also, the lines of the can inside the can kind of tell you as well. So there's half. See, half the can is missing. And we'll put that off to the side. All right. Let me put that on my cutting board. I need a paper towel first. Okay. Wipe that off my hand. And now we're going to put in our pumpkin spice. Okay. Now remember, we have to undo the lid, and again, these are always sealed, okay, and so we're going to have to peel that off, and in this case, you know, we can't dip in, so we have to take the lid off no matter what, and so we need a fly guide in here, so we need 1 1/2 teaspoons of pumpkin spice, so we're going to take 1 teaspoon. We know this is 1 teaspoon because it says 1 TSP. Okay, we're going to use a straight edge, and we can use the back of this knife because that's a straight edge. Okay, and we'll go right over our container so that we don't spill it. Right there. So there's 1. Now I don't have a half a teaspoon, so all I'm going to do is half of this, and I can't measure it, so I'm just going to have to eye it again. That's kind of like my grandmother. She used to cook like that. She just never measured anything. It was just a little bit of this, a little bit of that, you know, and it always turned out wonderful. You know, never measured. You know, my grandmother couldn't read, couldn't write, could barely speak English, but she could cook. And she loved cooking. All right. And so here we are. Again, now we need our milk. Now, I don't have a cup. All I have is a half cup. But I know that 2 half cups make a whole, just like what we did here, right, with our whipped cream. So I'm going to take my milk, and I'm going to put, this is 1/2 cup. There's a half a cup and another half a cup. Just like that. Into That makes 1 cup of milk. So 2 half cups make 1. And now, again, I'm going to use my mixer to mix stuff up with. Mix this all up. So low speed. So low speed. And there we go. And we're going to incorporate all this stuff. And we're going to mix it really, really, really good. Really get it in here. And that's looking pretty good, smooth. We want to make sure all our liquid is mixed up. Okay, I just wanted to get that little bit off the beaters. Alright, and then we're going to take our spoon. We're just going to go around and get all the spices that are pushed up on the edges. Okay. Just like that. See, it's nice and smooth now. So it's very nice and consistent. Just like that. And it's kind of firm. You know, it's not runny. So that when we go to put it in our refrigerator, it'll firm itself up. So now we're going to put this into our pie crust. Okay, and so we're just going to, again, spread it evenly onto our pie crust. Hopefully you can see that. Let me get out of the way of the camera so that you guys are more consistent here. You can see what I'm doing. Okay, that looks pretty good. Okay. Now, you know, you're probably going to have some left over. It just depends on your pie crust. You don't have to try to fill it all the way up, but you want to be even with it. Make it even. You don't want it overflowing. And there we go. There we go. That looks really good. We're going to even this out, just like that. Make it nice and smooth. There we go. Now that looks like $1 million pie. Okay. Put this off to the side. Okay. And then our last step of our blueprint says we're going to refrigerate this for 4 hours, and then we're going to take the remainder of our whipping cream and we're going to put it on top of our pie. And maybe what you could do is do the individual like slices here and there. You can just put a little dollop, or you can spread it all out if you want to do it. It's up to you. It's how you want to present your pie. So what we're going to do now is we're just going to cover this. We're going to put this all back into our refrigerator. And we're going to clean up. We're going to put this in, but we're going to have to cover it. Now I can cover it with this if I wanted to. Okay, and we will. We'll just cover it just like that. All right. And then into the refrigerator we're going to go. So just so that you can see that is a no-bake pumpkin pie. In 4 hours we're going to, we'll take that out and we'll have a pie. All right. So if you were to go to, say like Save Mart or Food for Less, one of those places, you're going to pay anywhere between, I don't know, $7, $8 for a small pie like this. Costco, you can buy a ginormous pie. Those are like $7. But you know what? They all kind of taste the same. So, and this is a little bit more satisfying because you made it. And whenever it's homemade, it always tastes a lot better. And I think that your family and you would take great pride in serving this. and eating it because it came from you and it's always made with love. All right, so I'm going to sign off. Bye.